Hello students and welcome back to your literature segment, and today we are going to do a new topic, and the name of the topic is the making of a scientist. Since our last two segments, you know that we were doing some stories related to mystery, thriller. Okay, so today we are going to learn how to achieve your dreams by the way of this particular chapter. So every day you are learning new things. Like first we started with glimpses of Goa, then we just jumped onto some mystery and some logical stories which were written by some famous writers. And today, the chapter which we are going to study is based on that whatever comes in your way, you may achieve any dream. Okay, आपके जो भी सपने हैं आप उन्हें पा सकते हो. So, let's read the introduction of the particular chapter, The Making of a Scientist, Richard Abride. Okay, this is the name of the character, the name of the boy, has received several awards. Okay, he has been awarded by several awards, and some few are Cyril Scholar Award, Scaring Plug Award for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. Of course, he wants to become a scientist, a great scientist, so he has received awards related to science. It was his fascination for butterflies that opened the world of science to him. Basically, जब रिचर्ड छोटा था, उसका जो main attraction था, when Richard was small, his main attraction was butterflies. He wants to study about them. कि butterflies कैसे उड़ती हैं, how they just gain life, how their death comes, okay, what is actually inside their system. So he started studying on them, and here he comes in contact with the subject science. So, the story is about Richard H. Abride, who grew up in the town of Reading in Pennsylvania, USA. He was born and brought up in USA. As he did not have much to do there, collecting things was his hobby. Because he was living in USA, अपनी family के साथ वो वहाँ रहते थे. So he was having like nothing to do. He was having no friends or anything around him. So he started collecting things. हम सबकी कोई ना कोई सी हॉबी होती है. Whenever we are alone, we love to do that particular thing. Okay, जिससे कि हमारा ध्यान कहीं और डाइवर्ट हो जाता है. So in the same way, जो रिचर्ड था, उसे क्या शौक था? different things को collect करना. Now he used to collect butterflies as a child in kindergarten. जब हम छोटे होते हैं, and when our parents take us to kindergarten and there we used to play, तब अलग अलग कलरफुल सी कुछ बटरफ्लाइज होती हैं जो हम देखते हैं. रिचर्ड को क्या शौक था? जैसे कई लोगों को स्टैच्यू कलेक्ट करने का शौक होता है, कई लोगों को पिक्चर्स कलेक्ट करने का शौक होता है, वैसे ही रिचर्ड को बटरफ्लाइज को कलेक्ट करने का शौक था. सो द थीम ऑफ दिस particular chapter is you are motivated to pursue your dreams by this chapter, कि हम कैसे अपने dreams की तरफ बढ़ सकते हैं. Okay, just like Abride had a strong sense of curiosity as a child, which ultimately inspired him to pursue a career in science. अगर उस समय रिचर्ड को butterflies में इतना इंटरेस्ट नहीं होता, so he would have not studied science as a subject. So जैसे ही उन्हें पता चला that my main interest is collecting butterflies and to know more and more about them is actually my dream. To learn more and more about them, to research on them, how they are coming into this world, how they are going back, what is their routine. So the path Abride took to become a renowned scientist leaves a lasting impression on us. और जो path उन्होंने choose किया था एक renowned scientist बनने के लिए, it leaves a great impression on us. So now let's read a summary where we will come to know more about his life and how he became a scientist. The chapter, The Making of a Scientist, is a story about the famous scientist Richard Abride. Richie, as his mother used to call him, was a very curious child right from his childhood. वो बचपन से ही बहुत ज़्यादा curious थे, बहुत ही ज़्यादा उत्साही रहते थे, हर एक काम को बहुत ज़्यादा मन से करते थे. Okay, he was a very fond of kid, जिन्हें उनकी मदर प्यार से रिची बुलाती थी. He had started collecting butterflies in his childhood, and when he was 2 years old, he had already collected all the 25 species. जब वो 2 साल के थे तब तक उनके पास में butterflies के अलग अलग species थे. There were total 25 species with him, and he was actually having that interest. Okay, found near his hometown. He thought it to be an end of butterfly collection until one day his mother bought him a book named The Travels of Monarch X. 25 species कलेक्ट करने के बाद रिचर्ड को क्या लगा that this is the end, Now I guess that I know each and every butterfly and there is no need for me to collect them further. अब मुझे आगे और butterflies collect करने की जरूरत नहीं है, अब मैं इतना sufficient उनके बारे में जानता हूँ. But this was not enough. जब तक कि उनकी मदर ने उन्हें एक बुक लाकर नहीं दी थी जिसका नाम क्या था, द ट्रेवल्स ऑफ मोनार्क एक्स. व्हाट वाज दिस बुक ऑल अबाउट और कैसे इस बुक से की वजह से वो एक साइंटिस्ट बने. दिस वाज अ टर्निंग पॉइंट इन हिज लाइफ एंड ही गॉट मच मोर interested in dealing with science. He started with tagging butterflies, which a task given at the end of the book that his mother bought for him. उस बुक की वो जो बुक थी, The Travels of Monarch X, जब वो रिचर्ड के पास में आई, that was a turning point of his life. And at that particular time, he learned that now I want to know more and more about them. I want to know individually about each and every species. And that book was also related to butterflies. और उस बुक की एंडिंग में क्या लिखा था, that just tag each and every butterfly that from actually they belong to which particular species. Everybody won something, but his project did not win any prize. Now there was a science fair in his school, but Richard doesn't won any prize, but his whole project was very unique. He was sad but also understood that too, when he needed to do real experiments and not just make neat and clean models. Then he wrote down to Dr. Urquhart at the University of Toronto, asking him for ideas to make projects. He stayed busy during his high school working on the long list sent to him by Dr. Urquhart. Now, what after losing this particular competition, Richard को बुरा तो बहुत लगा, but उसे क्या realize हुआ कि मुझे सिर्फ अच्छे fancy models नहीं बनाने, but मुझे अपनी research को actually में practical करना पड़ेगा. Then he just wrote a letter to Dr. Urquhart in Toronto and he asked him that how to make realistic projects. Okay, instead of just making this neat and clean models. Then he just sent him a list and he started working on it in his high school time. Then for the next year's fair, he chose the project of looking at the viral disease that killed nearly all the monarch caterpillars every few years. He thought that the reason for this could be a beetle, and so he started raising caterpillars in the presence of beetles but could not get any results. Now he was doing real experiments. What he thought that in between when all the butterflies were dying, it was the reasons because of beetles. So he started keeping caterpillars on one end and beetles on another and he just observed them. But it was not the real reason. So when he showed his trial experiment at the county science fair, his project won a prize. पर जब रिचर्ड ने अपना इस कैटरपिलर और बीटल वाला ट्रायल एक्सपेरिमेंट साइंस फेयर में शो करा हाई स्कूल टाइम में, एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम ही won a prize. This project also made him win prizes. Then he started his research as to the purpose of the 12 golden spots on the back of a monarch pupa. Everybody believed that it was just a design, but Dr. Urquhart thought otherwise. Now there was a गोल्डन मोनार्क जिसकी जो शेल था उसके ऊपर टोटल 12 स्पॉट्स थे एंड सबको यही लग रहा था बिकॉज वेन एवर इवन वी आर सीइंग द एनिमल्स वी फाउंड इट कि ये कुछ नेचुरल होगा. ओके, इट मस्ट बी मेड बाय गॉड और व्हेन दे आर बोर्न they are like that only, but no, that was not the reason. Now Richard wants to know that what is actually the reason behind those 12 spots, and even though Dr. Urquhart doesn't thought like that, then Ebright and another brilliant science student got together and made a device that could show that the golden spots were responsible for releasing a hormone that was necessary for its growth. फिर जब उन्होंने इस पे रिसर्च शुरू करी तब उन्हें क्या पता चला कि गोल्डन स्पॉट्स जो हैं वो एक तरह का हार्मोन रिलीज कर रहे हैं जो कि उनकी ग्रोथ के लिए बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. With the help of sophisticated instruments at one of the labs, he got a chance to work and found the chemical structure of the hormone in the golden spots. Then one day while looking at the photo of the chemical structure, he solved one of the biggest puzzles of life. He came to know how a cell blueprints its DNA. It was a big breakthrough and was published in the magazine. While researching on those 12 spots, he came to know that how a cell can reproduce the blueprint of a DNA, and that was a turning point of his life when his research became all around the world and it created a fabulous impact of this particular project on each and every individual, that how a particular kid started from the age of 2 years has ended up in such a young age on such a big research. So his research was being published in magazines, and also admired his social studies teacher, as he was the one who used to give him new ideas, and he was admired by his social studies teacher जो उन्हें स्कूल में पढ़ाते थे, and he was actually following the path whatever he was telling. Public speaking and a great canoeist, he never used to win for the sake of winning or for prize, but because he wanted to be the best at whatever he used to do. वो कभी भी इसलिए काम नहीं करते थे कि उन्हें कोई प्राइज जीतना था, बट वो जिस भी प्रोजेक्ट पे वर्क करते थे, he used to work for himself. He used to prove that he is perfect, and every time he is doing something new. A bright mind and the will to win the right reasons are the qualities needed to be a scientist, and mother also played a big role in making him. अगर उनकी मदर उस टाइम पर वो बुक नहीं लाती तो शायद एब्राइट बटरफ्लाइज पे अपनी इस रिसर्च को रोक चुके थे, बट ड्यू टू हिज मदर ही जस्ट came forward with the flying colors. So this was the thing where his curiosity actually attained and made him a great scientist. So in this way, we should not participate in any of the competition just to win it, but to do that particular thing with so much perfection that it actually puts a great impact on your life. Okay. So now let's discuss the question and answers. How did a book become a turning point in Richard Ebright's life? Of course, in a second grade, he decided to drop the idea of collecting the butterflies. But when his mother gave him the Traveler's Monarch X, and when he studied that particular book, he came to know more about butterflies, and then he started tagging them, and then he learned that there is a lot more to know about them. How did his mother help him? Encouraging his interest in learning new things. She took him on occasional trips. Scientific equipments लाकर दिए थे उनकी मदर ने उन्हें, telescope, microscope, camera, mounting material, and she helped him by giving him that book of the Traveler's Monarch X. So you can mention all these points. What lesson does Ebright learn when he does not win anything at a science fair? He just learned that I don't have to make neat and clean models, but instead of that, I want to do a practical research. Okay, a real experiment. मुझे सिर्फ मॉडल्स नहीं बनाने, मुझे एक रियल एक्सपेरिमेंट करना है. What experiments and projects does he then undertake? Projects and conducted experiments. In his 8th grade project, he tried to find the cause of viral disease that was killing caterpillars. He just do that experiment between caterpillars and beetles, and he just kept them together, and later on he realized that it was not their fault and it was not so. He also studied bright spots on monarch pupa, the child of monarch, and he just studied that what those spots indicate, that they are releasing a hormone which is helpful for their growth. According to the author, 3 key ingredients make a scientist. So what are the qualities of a scientist? Curiosity, perform best, and win for the right reason. What are the 3 reasons? The scientists are very curious. Okay, their curiosity is important. Their best, whatever they are doing, they put their best into that, and winning for the right reason. They never like win for a wrong reason, but whatever they are doing, they win it for a right reason. How can one become a scientist, an economist, a historian? Reading books on any subject is just an aspect of learning. A learner must work on developing his or her observation. हमें लाइफ में जो भी बनना हो, first of all, we need to observe the things that what we are in reality we are interested in. And it's not just a thing of 1 week or 2 weeks, but we need to practice it, we need to make it our hobby. And then we can enjoy our work. And once we started enjoy our work, we are going deeper and deeper into it. Okay. You must have read about cells and DNA in your science books. Discuss Richard Ebright's work in light in what you have studied if you get an opportunity to work like Richard Ebright. Of course, he has developed that DNA philosophy by solving several puzzles. So in the same manner, whatever you are doing, you can just solve it. And if I get an opportunity to work like Richard Ebright on projects and experiment, I would like to study various life-threatening diseases. And in the same way, your scope, your goal can maybe something other than what you guys want to study. So yes, that's it for today, and I just hope that this chapter is clear to you, the making of a scientist, and this chapter also must have actually pushed you to achieve your dreams. Just like yesterday we have done a chapter, a question of trust, that never trust anyone blindly, and today we have learned how to achieve our goals by practicing more and more. It's not just a matter of winning, but the matter to do things in a right manner at a correct point of time. So thank you very much everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.